Hi guys, welcome back to Spoons and Spirits, and a really quick video trying to save you some money with 5 really quick and helpful tips on saving money on your carving hobby. Tip number 1. With your wood, you don't always have to be buying wood. You don't have to buy basswood or lime wood or anything like that. Use some found wood. Listen out for the sound of chainsaws. Go and chat to the guys who are cutting trees down. Or if you have to cut trees down at home, have a carver of the wood you've got. See what it feels like. Me personally, I prefer to use green wood. So to keep it green and to keep it fresh, I keep it underwater, completely submerged in water in buckets like these. Keep them in the shade, it stops any bacteria forming anything in the water, and just change it regularly. But then you've always got a constant and free supply of wood. If you're not sure about different types of wood, carve everything, give it a go. Some are soft, some are hard, some hold an edge better, some are a little bit rougher. Give it a go, that's half of the fun. Tip number 2, knives. Now knives come in all different shapes and fashions. You can spend as tiny amount as you want, you can spend a bigger amount as you want. You could start off with a cheap little X-Acto style knife where you can change the tips almost like a craft knife sort of thing. You can get the next cheapest up. These ones I found, the Sheffield steel versions, I found for only a few pounds in my local hardware store. You can then go up to the likes of Flexwood and Mora. Personally, I don't go for anything too much further than that. Flex cut are fantastic for brilliant detail work. Mora are fantastic for sloyd type work that you might use on spoon carving and things. Talking of spoon carving as well, your typical hook knives. You can start off with a Mora, although they've got a double grind on them. They're a great starting knife, but again, highly recommend Robin Wood tools. They are just as cheap, but fantastically high quality. You don't have to spend the earth. If you go to your budget, start off small and cheap. If you are not sure if this is the hobby for you, if you know that you've had a good go of it and you want to go up a level, go for maybe the Flex cut or for the Moras there. Flex cut also do some fantastic gouges and do a great starter sets as well for a very decent amount of money. Give them a go. If it comes to sheaths as well, Moras tend to come with sheaths like this. You can make something out of an old scrap of leather like I've done there from my Robin Wood tools. You can also even find wrapping tutorials online to wrap your own covers. These are just made out of apple cartons. Anything, you can use birch bark, you can use anything, but it's super cheap. You really don't have to spend the earth. Tip number 3, stropping. Keep those knives that you have bought and paid your money on in the best condition you possibly can. If you can't afford yourself a strop to start with, try making one. It's literally just a couple of pieces of leather stuck on either side. You only really have to have the one piece of leather. Try an old belt, bit of leather off of an old sofa or an old jacket that you just ripped to shreds that you can't be bothered with anymore. Just find a good strip of it, stick it on there. If you really don't even have that, you can just use cardboard. Cardboard works really well as well for a great starter one. Just get your compound and rub it on just as you would a normal strop, and then just get your knives back and forward on that. It is so easy to do to get you started and get that super sharp knife ready for you to start with as well. Compound wise too, if there's a few of you carving at the same time, have a look online. There are cheaper brands such as Silverline for instance that do a massive bar that will last you more than a lifetime. Get a few mates in on it, it'll literally cost you about £1 each, and you can cut it up with a hot knife to whatever sizes you want. I've had this block for years and you can see I've barely made a dent on it, and I had 3 blocks with this kit. Get yourself something cheap. You don't need to go far, but it gets you started. Tip number 4, templates. The more you carve, the more you might find yourself wanting to carve the same thing over and over again, especially if you're a spoon carver. Templates are a really handy thing to do. You can do exactly the same with caricature carving. You can do the same with, well, pretty much any carving. If you want to replicate it and you want it to be the same each time or very similar each time, do yourself up a little template. These are just made from simple milk bottles. All you have to do is use a permanent marker, draw it on. If you're printing out the template online, then print it out, cut it out, draw around it, cut it out with a sharp pair of scissors, put any markings on it that you might want to do, and then it is ready. It will never ever fade away. They are super flexible, nothing will rub off, and if it does, you'll still have the vague outline on there. You can always just ink it in again. 100% free. All it costs you is 1 page of printing if you need to print it. Last but not least, tip number 5, PPE, personal protective equipment. If, like me, you like to use gloves while you're carving, then get yourself a decent set of gloves. These ones are cut level 5. They are very, very good. However, they will wear out over time. So here is a fantastically great tip. When you start to get to the point where you're starting to make holes in your gloves, pick yourself up some super cheap exercise tape. This is the stretchy stuff you can put on muscles and things like that. It's fairly thick, it's not too bad. It won't 100% protect you. However, the trick is when you go to buy the new pair of gloves, don't throw away the old ones. Cut off all the fingers that are okay. Then when you start to find you're going through a little patch there, just slide on the new finger, bit of tape around it, and you are good to go. That will protect you for a hell of a lot longer. And technically 10 fingers, if you only tend to go through one finger at a time, you've got 10 times the length of life in that glove there. Plus, the other benefit to this sort of thing is you will figure out where you keep slipping, where you keep missing, so you can really hone your practice to try and make sure that at some point you won't need to use gloves. That is the top tip there. Thank you so much for watching. If anyone else has got any other top tips, please do pop them on the comments down below. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button for me, and pretty soon I'll be coming along with hopefully 5 more tips to help you in your carving journey. Cheers, bye-bye.